Coming live from the neighborhood, you are listening to Hapi Hood, the podcast, where we deliver meaningful content to inspire, uplift, and empower. Hey neighbor, it's your favorite neighbor, Jay Murray, lifestyle coach with a passion for helping others embrace self-worth and live a life of fulfillment. Welcome to the neighborhood. It's Hapi Hood, the podcast.
Finish
Message.
what you start.
Let's go. Welcome to Monday Leadership here on Hapi Hood, the podcast. This is where we take a moment to build today's habits for successful tomorrow, because we know that leadership is not a title. It's a choice. It's a choice that's rooted in our daily habits to lead with humility, to drive change, to overcome oppositions, to truly be the leader that God has called us to be. What's going on, family? I'm your favorite neighbor, Jay Murray, and I want to thank you for another edition of Hapi Hood, the podcast, Monday Leadership. You know, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you for tapping in, for joining us. We believe in three things here at Hapi Hood. We believe in unlocking our potential, embracing our self-worth, and living a life of fulfillment. Hey, have you ever used the words busy? And what I mean by that is, have you ever found yourself, saying, man, I just been busy, or, just been busy doing this, been busy doing that. A couple of weeks ago, I found myself responding to, one of those, hey, how you been? Where you been? What's been going on? Type of pleasantries. And I have really been working on since last year, breaking some of these bad habits, as I like to call them, especially during the moments of or my season of burnout, that I would use that when people say, hey, how you been? What's going on? I'll be just say, just been busy. It's just been busy. And I wanted to break that bad habit and replace that word, busy, to, I've been productive. I've been well. I've been healthy, to some positive reinforcing words. And when I think about sometimes when I am reverting back to some bad habits, I think about, man, am I operating under a survival mode? Am I in survival right now? Am I trying to get ahead? Am I trying to keep everything afloat? Or how do I shift this survival mode into a thriving mode? So today I want to talk about scarcity mindset, and how to shift it into a strategy mindset, how to move from a survival to a thriving mode. So we're going to be talking about the signs that you may be operating in a scarcity mindset. What's some of the examples, that you see, especially when thinking about parenting, entrepreneurship in corporate America, that, hey, we're operating in a scarcity mindset. And then what are some of the habits? What are some of the habits that's going to help us to shift from a scarcity mindset to a to a strategy mindset, to a thriving mindset? Before I do that, hey, do me a favor, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button so you can always be in the know when new content is dropping. And also leave me a comment. Let me know what resonates with you. And share this with someone, share this with a friend, share this with a leader, share it with a young person that maybe just starting out work, as my daughter is now applying for summer jobs. Share it with someone like that can help them really begin their path to leadership in a very successful way. So scarcity mindset. I think one of the biggest myths of a scarcity mindset, or how scarcity mindset is disguised. Let me say that. One of the things that with the scarcity mindset, it is disguised many times as our ambition, it is disguised as our work ethic, I can remember times where I used to say, like, I do my best work when I'm procrastinating. When my procrastination, that's when I do my best work. At the 11th hour, that's when I'm productive. I was operating from a scarcity mindset because when you think about it, you know, it was a sense of urgency, right? It was pretty much, hey, I was down to my, the time was running out and I had to do something. But when I think about it collectively, when I think about it from a cumulative perspective, I was m- only, I was still less productive because what I thought I was productive in this one area, well, it took away my time and energy and my focus in other areas. So those areas then begin to lack. So when I think about it from a holistic perspective, I I still wasn't productive. I still wasn't productive. It was a short-term win, but it didn't build long-term sustainability. It didn't build long-term sustainability. So when we're thinking about from a scarcity mindset, are we truly building, or are we truly just trying to not fall behind? Are we truly not to trying not to fall behind? So, what are some of the signs? What are some of the signs that are warning signs that we're operating in a scarcity mindset? Well, the first sign is that we believe that everything is urgent. Everything is urgent. We're always in a constant urgency, and there's never a lack. There's never enough time. And this comes from our belief that there's not a lack of time. We have a lack of resources. We believe that there's a lack of opportunity. So we always have to continue to just grind, grind, grind. That's a sign that, hey, we're operating in a scarcity mindset. Another sign that we're operating in a scarcity mindset is that we say yes to everything. We say yes to everything. And this is pretty much based on our symptom of FOMO. We have a FOMO symptom. So we have a fear of missing out. So we say yes to everything. We all have been there. We all have been there. So, hey, you want to join this board? Hey, you want to join this committee? Hey, you want to do on this? Can you do this project? Hey, can you? We say yes to everything. It is hard for us to say, and we wonder why we feel that we're falling behind, that we feel that we don't have enough time. We take it on too much. We're taking on too much. So that's a sign. That is a warning sign. It is a signal that we are operating in a scarcity mindset. Another sign is that we are comparing. We're falling in the comparison trap. We go on social media. We begin to look at other entrepreneurs, begin to look at other relationships, other parents. We look at, kids, especially if we have kids. We look at all these different things and we start to compare our life to others. We start to compare our life to others. And now we begin, or through that comparison, our decisions are made. So we now do comparison driven decisions, which is never okay. Our decisions are rooted in our how we look at others, how we see others, and how they're doing. Now we begin to comparison. We do comparison driven decisions. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a warning sign that we're operating in a scarcity mindset. We're operating in a scarcity mindset. And again, as I said before, we definitely have seen this. We definitely have maybe even have demonstrated this, from a corporate setting. Especially, you have those managers that are truly micromanagers, and a lot of time is that they don't trust no one. They feel like they are about to be replaced. They feel that there's a lack of time always. They are taking on too much. They are not they lack the ability to empower others. As entrepreneurs, we go through the point of, instead of focusing on the brand, we focus on others. We focus on what other people are doing on in their business. Again, fall into that comparison trap. As parents, this may look like, hey, we are, we have, again, the fear, FOMO, the fear of our kids missing out, though, right? We have the fear of our kids missing out. So now we are scheduling them in all these different activities. We have them in little league. We have them in this league. We have them in that league because, oh, God forbid they miss one season, they're going to be falling behind. We put them in this activity. We put them in that activity. We put them with this committee because, God forbid, we got to make sure that their college application has all these different activities and hobbies because we want to get them in the best schools. We have a fear of our kids missing out. So as you can see, scarcity is truly just rooted in our fears, is rooted in our insecurities, is rooted in our past experiences, right? Some failures, is rooted in all those things, to where it becomes, instead of, when things come our way, a scarcity mindset, we operate from a reactive compared to a responsive things, right? As I talked about, like far as failure, from a scarcity mindset, when we are dealing with setback, we're going to be very reactive. We're going to do comparison driven decisions. We're going to make comparison driven decisions. We're going to think about the short term win compared to thinking about the long term sustainability, because we are being very reactive. But as we think about shifting from that survival scarcity mindset to a strategy thriving mindset, instead of being reactive when setback, failure present itself, we become responsive. We become responsive, meaning we don't panic. We stay to our plan. We don't panic. We have a plan. Okay. So, what are some of the signs from a strategy mindset? From a strategy mindset. Well, some of the signs from a strategy mindset is that we have clarity of the mission over chasing the metrics. Now, this especially when you think about, far as those that are working as entrepreneurs, business owners, corporate citizens. Sometimes we get too rooted, and even as parents, because the metrics can be, everything from the grades, what they get in percentages, all those things, especially the numbers, especially if they have individual sports and everything. We Many times we think too much on the metrics instead of thinking and gaining the clarity of the mission. Clarity of the mission over chasing metrics. Meaning, why are we doing this? This becomes the why. Without having the why, we do not understand and truly can execute the how and the what. The why is the thing that helps to ground us. The second thing is we are confident to say no and wait. Now, this is big. We're confident to say no and wait. As I said before, when I used to think, hey, my procrastination was the best when I'm at my best, a lot of times is because I couldn't say no to whatever project or committee or task that was given to me. I couldn't say no. So now, as I put all my focus, all my time and energy in this one thing, I begin to lose out. I begin to run a deficit in these other areas, relationships, family, um, project, other things, my aspirations, all these other areas that begin to run a deficit because many times we're not confident. Just say no and wait. You know what? That's really great, but I'm going to wait. This is not the time. The time is not right now. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. We don't from a strategy mindset. It's delegation and collaboration. Many times, especially as business owners, entrepreneurs, there's a lot of things that come our way, and this again, this is also for those that's in corporate America, is that we do not know where to delegate and where to collaborate. My line of work, I interact with a lot of senior executives. And when you get to that point, that level, you are in so many meetings, your calendar is so packed. And I always at times when I'm, either coaching them, I'm like, we got to really get a handle on your schedule. Because the thing about it is like, can you delegate that task? Can you delegate that meeting to someone so you can now focus on these areas? And that again is just showing you at times we're operating in scarcity. With times we're operating that survival instead of thriving. Strategy mindset, a thriving mindset is going to always look at what areas we can delegate, what areas we can collaborate to help us to be more productive, to be more productive. As I said before, a strategy mindset is anchored. When you think about the mission, this also goes with the vision. We're anchored in the vision, not the validation. We're anchored in the vision, not the validation. We're not looking for the validation of of others. And this is again sometimes where it can be challenging because, as I said before, the scarcity mindset is rooted in our insecurities, is rooted in our fear. And many of our insecurities is that we look for validation for others. But a strategy mindset is anchored in the vision, not the validation. It's anchored in the vision, not the validation. So, how do we shift our mind? What are the habits that we need to develop, that we need to mold to move from a survival to a thriving, to move from a scarcity mindset to a strategy mindset? The first thing we need to do is that we need to take time to reflect. We need to schedule time to reflect. We need to schedule time to reflect, just to think and give ourselves moments to understand, hey, what went well, what didn't go so well. As I said before, there's so many um times when I think about when I was running low, when I was running at a deficit. One of the biggest things that I wasn't doing is I wasn't taking time to reflect, to schedule. Hey, let's reflect. Let's build that in our routine. Let's prioritize whether it's taking 30 minutes in the beginning of the day or 30 minutes at the end of the day. Take a moment to reflect. Take a moment to slow down, to catch your breath, Yes, that even if you operate in a thriving moment or thriving mindset strategy, yeah, there's still gonna be times where it's gonna feel hectic. It's gonna feel, but when you're taking time to catch your breath, you bring down the chaos. You bring down the feeling of just being frustrated. of feeling like, hey, I'm behind, I'm behind. I gotta get, oh man, the urgency. Now things doesn't feel urgent because schedule time. Schedule time. Another habit, and this is a very practical one, is that build systems. Build systems that protect your energy and your time. Similar to scheduling time to reflect, set a constant routine, right? It can be a constant morning routine that help you prioritize stillness, that helps you prioritize planning, helps you to make a moment to have a gratitude moment. Build systems that protect your energy and your time. The third thing is listen before you leap. Again, this kind of goes back to always saying yes to everything. You know, many times we are making decisions that are emotional driven. We may feel the pressure to make these decisions. So before we take a leap, let's listen. And one practical thing we can do, especially when we feel that this decision is rooted in our emotions, is we're feeling a little pressure. Hey, do a 24-hour pause. Hey, before I make this decision, because I feel like, hey, this is a very emotional decision. I'm feeling the pressure. Let me do a 24-hour pause to let me continue to listen. Let me listen to God. Let me listen to my wife, my husband. Let me listen to my kids. Let me listen before I leap. Let me listen before I leap. And again, family, you gotta understand, if they can't, whoever is presenting you with this opportunity or presenting you with this particular situation, if they don't honor that to say, hey, before I make a decision, because I understand this is rooted in my emotions. I may feel very ambition to do this, but hey, I don't want that to be something where I'm coming from a scarcity mindset because I feel like I have to do this, or I feel like, oh man, if they can't respect that and honor that, you don't need to make that decision at all. But if they can, hey, it's a great. Let me sleep on this. Let me talk to my wife before I do this. Let me talk to my husband before. Let me. It's a great opportunity. It's great. Let me. Can I think it over? Can I think it over before I make emotional driven decision? Before I make a comparison driven decision, let me take a 24-hour just pause break. Is to think about it. This next one is I'm calling it prune before you plant. Prune before you plant. And what that means, this kind of goes back into when we're making decisions, when we are saying yes to everything. Before we add things to our plate, we need to be subtracting. We need to be subtracting. We can't continue to just add things to our plate. We need to be subtracting. So what that means that, hey, what's one task that you can delegate as formal leaders, corporate leaders, entrepreneurs? What's one task that you can delegate? I see this often at times, especially now that my daughter is getting older and she's cooking. And I'm telling that just the one task saying, hey baby, can you cook tonight? Me and mommy got this. She working late. She may have some balloons that she doing. I'm working. I'm tired. Hey, can you cook tonight? Can you cook tonight? And she know that it provides so much a relief for me and my wife when my daughter cooks, and when she's a good cook too. But as parents, that can be one thing. Like especially if your kid's older, hey, y'all clean up. All right, y'all do the dishes. If maybe they already have chores. Hey, delegate that. As parents, hey, we're gonna delegate that. Delegate one task you can delegate. What's one responsibility that you can either pause or end? What's the one responsibility? Again, this kind of goes back to, as I said, my corporate leaders. Do you have to be at all those meetings? Do you have to be at all those meetings? I still got this rule of thumb, but I try to give people grace. If it doesn't have an agenda, I'm not coming. if you put a meeting on my books and it doesn't have agenda, now I'll reach out to you, I'll chat you just to make sure, hey, maybe you missed it, or I may already know that we have already talked, but I have not talking to you. Maybe my first time meeting you, and you have talked to others, and somebody say, hey, go talk to Murray, and you have not put agenda what or even chatting me of what this meeting is about. I'm not coming. I'm not coming. And that's how we have to. Do you need to go to all those meetings? Or is it time for you to empower others, to collaborate with others, to say, you know what? I'm going to step back from this committee and I'm going to delegate this to others, or I'm gonna power so and so to now take over in this area. I'm gonna step back. Okay. And then what's one thing you can focus deeply on? Again, pruning before you plant, this habit of pruning before you plant. Hey, what's one thing you can focus deeply on today? You know, maybe it's the books, right? The budget, right? Maybe is this strategy of expanding your business that you really just haven't had time to. What's one thing that you can focus deeply on? Really take a moment to really focus deeply on. Because when we're able to schedule time for reflection, we're able to build systems, we're able to listen before we leap, when we're able to prune before we plant, we're able to build these habits that helps us to be successful for today and for tomorrow. Because we know that leadership is not a title, it's a choice. It's a choice that's rooted in our daily habits to be the leader that God has called us to be. Till next time, family, love yourself, love God, love your neighbor. I'm your favorite neighbor, Jay Murray. Be blessed.